You are going to have to make life happen. I'm not saying let life happen, make life happen. You have to forge the path of your life. You have to be very proactive. This is something a lot of older people know, but if you're younger, you may realize it for things like your physical development. You know that you have to be proactively going to the gym. Again, this is something you figure out maybe after secondary school, where you have all this formal physical education and all this structured activity. So maybe you don't have to be as proactive when you're in primary school, secondary school, but once you get to, say, university, you have to be a bit more proactive. Even though there are structured activities, it's more voluntary, so you have to be proactive in that sense. You leave university, you have to proactively play sports or go to a gym. But once you get older, that spreads into other facets of your life. You have to be proactive with your education. So it's no longer mom and dad sending you to school to learn. You have to go independently learn. Professional courses, professional certifications and all that. And then it's even spreads to things like friendship. When you are in school, because you're confined to that physical location of the school via the rules, you don't have to be as proactive with your friend group. I mean, you're kind of naturally together. So you might not be taking the steps that are necessary once you're older, because once you're outside of that structured environment and you go along your separate paths, one forges a career in one town, another goes to a different town to maybe start a business, you start families. So you lose that structured time around each other. So what you have to do is be proactive and make time. Make time for one another. It's one thing I've been doing recently, reaching out to people that I know I haven't talked to in a couple of years, but who I care for, These are people I actually mess with, people I actually love, but haven't spoken because we haven't made that time to properly speak. Because you have to make time. You have to be proactive with that. If you're younger and you don't realize that about your friends yet, because you are in that structured environment, I'm letting you know now. You have to be proactive. And this extends to everything. You can't be a passenger in your life. If you want to live a certain life, if you have goals in mind, you have to be proactive in reaching those goals. You have to make the decision. That's the most important thing. You make a decision to do something. A lot is lost from indecision, from not making a choice. So you have to learn to be decisive. You have to learn to choose an option. It's very hard for some people to do that, It's very hard for people to choose. They get what's called decision paralysis or paralysis by analysis. You're overthinking things. So it is actually a skill to be able to decide, be able to do something about it. That's a skill. And it's one worth learning, I believe. There's a lot of wind. I hope my voice is carrying through. I should get a microphone, but these things cost money. And the videos, for now, do not earn money. Not yet, anyway. But they will. But until that point, we might not have a microphone. All we do is take in our surroundings and speak to the people and hope that they hear. I'm just walking through the farmlands, because I'm being proactive about my health. You can't be passive. Once again, when you're in school, you have structured physical education, right? Especially primary school, secondary school. There is that structured time that the school provides for you to be physically active, learn about your body, learn about taking care of yourself. But once you leave secondary school, if you make the choice to go on to higher education, tertiary education, university, there still are activities that you can choose, but they're all elective. So this is the beginning of making proactive choices about your health once you go there, once you leave secondary school. It might be in university with the elective extracurricular stuff, or if you go into trades, you're gonna have to join a gym or join some kind of sports club to do the work that you want to do, you know, to build your body and build your health. But it's all down to the decision you make for yourself. Do I want to be healthy? Yes or no? Yes. Maybe you haven't made that decision because it's never been clearly spelled out to you like that it is a yes or no decision to be healthy. Okay, do I want to be healthy? Yes or no? Yes. The follow-up question might not be yes or no. It might be, what do I have to do to be healthy? Well, I have to move my body around for a certain amount of time at least. That's a bare minimum. Okay, how do I move my body around? Well, I could walk. I could walk for an hour a day, 10,000 steps. That's something. What else can I do? Oh, I can move around heavy stuff, heavy objects. That's another thing I can do. So maybe I can join a gym. What else can I do? Oh, maybe I can play a sport and join a club. These are all things, steps you can do to be healthy. By the same token, you can make that decision for professional development. Okay, I work in a finance department, for example. I need to know how to use spreadsheets. Okay, what do? I take a course on Microsoft Excel. All right, cool. Now I want to learn how to better manipulate that data. Okay, what do I need to do? Maybe I do a short course in data analytics. Now I know how to manipulate data better. I know how to interpret it better. I know how to present it better. All right, cool. I want to become the head of the finance department eventually. What do? I'm gonna have to take a class on leadership skills. Learn how to be a leader, learn how to manage a department, learn more strategic thinking. These are all things that are necessary to build yourself professionally. Okay, I want to do personal development. What do I lack at the moment? Maybe I lack communication skills. What should I do? Maybe I join a public speaking class or public speaking club, and we proactively encourage each other to speak in public. We learn how to speak in public. We learn the skill set. So that's your path to personal development as well. What does this all have in common? The choice, the decision to go forward. First, recognizing what it is that you need to do, making the decision to do it, and then figuring out the exact path or the exact route to take. But you cannot afford to be passive. No one is going to hold your hand through this life. I mean, you had that as a child, but when it's time to make grown folk decisions, it's up to you. You know, it's no longer you being the little girl or the little boy. It's time to be a woman. It's time to be a man. You have to make a decision. stumbled onto some private property a little bit earlier. Perhaps I was a little too proactive, but in life, you have to allow yourself to make them little mistakes because you learn. You learn more from your mistakes than you do from when you get it right. You know what I'm saying? When you get something right, you don't really learn. You don't know what you did was wrong. But yeah, man, be proactive. Don't be a passenger.